So now you kind of know a little bit about what zinc does. How do we absorb zinc? Very, very simply put, when we eat zinc, foods that contain zinc, the zinc requires stomach acid. So the food that we eat, and again, most of your foods that contain high levels of zinc are going to come from meats. And I'll talk a little bit more about some more food sources here shortly. But in the stomach, we get the acid helps to break the zinc off of the food, and then once it's broken off the food, most of our zinc is absorbed in the proximal small intestine. So the duodenum, which is a little, and the jejunum, which are the sections closest to the stomach. So not the distal part, not the part furthest from the stomach, but the part closest to the stomach. So the vast majority of zinc absorption occurs in the duodenum and jejunum. Now, about 30% of the zinc in your diet, predominantly about 30 to 40% of that is absorbed and the rest goes out. So it's not an all or none. It's not a 100% absorption component. And so, you're not going to absorb 100% of what you eat. So zinc is absorbed in that way. Let's talk about some of the food sources for zinc as well, so that you can kind of see, again, that where you're going to be getting zinc. So let me make a little bit more, well, we'll just change colors. So we're talking about food sources. Number one is meat. It's important that you understand zinc predominantly comes from meat, if you're a vegetarian especially, because it's been shown that vegan diets are actually, I'm going to take that away from number two, and we're going to just draw a little line. If you have a vegan diet, this is actually one of the risk factors for developing a zinc deficiency. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get enough zinc on a vegan diet. It just simply means that if you are on a vegan diet, if you're following a vegetarian-based diet, you want to understand it's very hard to get the zinc from animal-based foods. Some of your animal-based foods that contain zinc, so if we look at, for example, lentils and other beans, we also look at foods like spinach and some of the other greens that contain zinc. These particular food sources, they have high levels of phytates in them, and the phytates themselves are going to stop or basically they're going to compete and prevent your zinc from properly being absorbed. So these, although you can get some from them, if you're going to use lentils, for example, or beans as a source of zinc, you should be soaking them adequately. If you're a vegetarian, soak them and even let them sprout. That's going to unlock your body's ability, your gut's ability to get access to that zinc. But predominantly we're talking about meat. So that whether that's fish, whether that's beef, whether that's bison, whether that's chicken, whether that's egg, these are the things predominantly that you're going to find the most zinc in. Now, beyond those things, what are some other really solid sources of zinc in the diet? Well, you can get some from nuts, but remember too, some of the nuts have phytates as well, and some people will soak their nuts as well to get better absorption out of them. Pumpkin seed is another really rich source. Bone broth and bone meal, if you've ever used bone meal, but bone broth suffices as well. Pumpkin seed I mentioned. Avocado is another good source of zinc. Okay, so these are all good sources. Egg is a good source of zinc. Some of your vegetables like beets, okra, parsley, and carrots can be good sources of zinc as well. And I say good sources, not as good as what we see up here. Now, the highest level of zinc from a food, if you like them, if you eat them, is oyster. Oyster, about, pound for pound, oyster is probably your highest zinc-containing food. That's why in some cultures, oyster is considered a good food for fertility if you're struggling with fertility issues, because zinc plays a role both in male and in female fertility. So again, these are going to be some of your better food sources. Hey, don't forget to check out the rest of the series right here. Make sure you hit subscribe below. And as always, thanks for tuning in.